Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back or welcome if you are new subscribers to our YouTube channel. We talk about macroeconomy and technology. I'm your host, Marc, fund manager at Merill Funds. I've been managing money for over 2 decades. Now, today with us in our Valletta office, our blockchains and crypto expert, Damien Bonello, blockchain researcher at Simply Stacking, a blockchain infrastructures company based here in Malta. Welcome, Damien. As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Last time you have been back from New York to the conference, and now you are back from Paris this time, and you will tell us a little bit more about what we can expect for the near futures. So before we start our journey, here I want to give a little bit some context why Damien and why we have a connections. Damien used to work for the asset management as a financial analyst, so he was on the traditional finance, more a researcher, I will say, on the semiconductor. And back at that time, back 2019, the team was analyzing all the semiconductors industry, all the supply chains. I know for you maybe it's quite a well-known names, NVIDIA, but back at that time, only hardcore gamers used to understand who is NVIDIA because they used to need it for their graphic card. So to finish the introductions, do not hesitate to subscribe to our channel. And for more insight, you can subscribe also to our LinkedIn page, you can see here, or our website. So thank you. Now you get the disclaimer, 5 seconds on your screen. Let me tell you one thing, blockchain and crypto are not a part of our universe because we are UCITS funds, but we try to bring you some insight and we try to have like an objective visions as an observer because we are not taking part on our allocations of this type of asset class. Hi, Damien. I know you are quite sensitive on the question of the future, the nature, the environmental side. I will say for traditional funds like Merill funds, I would say ESG is a part of the investment journey. But how you see on the perspective of the blockchain and the cryptocurrency, how is your view on it?
Right. So, historically speaking, okay, so to give some background context, there's mainly two different types of, we call them consensus mechanisms in blockchain. It's proof of work, which is Bitcoin, and from 2 years ago, it was, before 2 years ago, it was Ethereum as well. It was purely proof of work. And then proof of stake, which is, you have products now, Ethereum, since 2022. And the majority of other sort of networks. So historically, proof of work has gotten a lot of sort of hate because of how energy intensive it is. So people used to assume that it's very polluted towards the environment, right? Lots of these miners running 24/7, sucking up a lot of energy, putting strain on the power supply of that particular area because it draws a lot of power. However, I feel like nowadays, these proof of work people, the companies that run these miners, they go to these places where there's an abundance of this energy, which makes sense, right? For these to run efficiently, there needs to be an abundance of energy. And usually where there's an abundance of energy are places where there's ideally cheap electricity as well. And cheap electricity comes from sustainable sources. You have a lot of people, there's this one big mining group in Iceland, right? You have Iceland, which is this massive sort of hub for geothermal energy. So it's an endless supply of clean energy. You have people in Texas, cheap energy because it's a sunshine state. I mean, not California, but it's still its own sunshine state. And these factories would have attached to it massive solar plants.
Okay.
So a lot of their energy comes from renewables. There's been this massive push in order to eliminate the stigma of blockchain, especially Bitcoin, is like this really dirty industry, which it isn't. I would say it's not anymore.
Okay, so I mean, we are going, I mean, everyone at the moment on the investment, we are going in these directions, and I think we need to onboard this social aspect, the environmental aspect, and I think especially your generations, I will say, I've been already taking really a part of this because it was always a part of your journey, I would say, since you are small. So yes, thank you anyway for this insight. Normally, I will say ETF crypto are dedicated to one specific crypto, could be Bitcoin, could be potentially in the future Ethereum. I think not long time ago now we see a little bit some active management and some people managing actively. I mean, as I noticed like Grayscale, they kick out Cardano and Cosmos from their allocations. Did you see a trend changing from passive to active investment?
So yeah, with regards to the Grayscale fund, I think it was the Global Income Fund because with Cosmos and Cardano, they're proof of stake. You get sort of staking rewards, which are dividends in the traditional sense. Yeah, I think more active managers are potentially seeing crypto as the more established cryptocurrencies as a new form of assets to introduce to their clients as an attempt to either diversify like their own portfolio, it's a new interesting asset class, or as an attempt to attract the younger generation towards traditional finance sort of managers. There's also this trend with decentralized ETFs. You have ETF providers such as Index Co-op or GMCI who are building fully on-chain ETFs. ETFs not focused on a single asset, but on multiple assets.
Okay.
So there's two different. There are two different people working like at the same time. You have the active managers in traditional finance, then you have like the active sort of on-chain managers on the DeFi side, both with the aim of providing retail with a portfolio of these of assets for, again, diversification of their current portfolio.
Damien, I want to have your opinions about venture capital. I mean, as we know, I would say months ago, Solana was like quite on the upside, and thanks probably with the setup with the venture capital behind the scene compared to Ethereum, I would say. And how you see these things evolve going forward, and how you see the role of the venture capitalists behind the scene.
So yeah, it's a great question, Mark. Yeah, definitely the role of venture capitals in crypto historically has been quite significant, I would say. Usually, if there's a new chain launching and there's mention of venture capital, usually it means, one, it could be a very serious project, and two, you know that the price is going to be up there, as opposed to just launching as a community chain, so to speak. This is, I mean, I can't give reasons why, but most projects would launch with a very limited supply of their total float. This is mainly because most of the rest of the supply would be locked away for the venture capitals or any other participant in their pre-seed or seed or any Series A, B funding rounds. Another chunk of their total float would be allocated towards other sort of incentives, we call them, or R&D for that specific chain. So a lot of the float, total float, is locked away. So again, they launch with a limited supply, and obviously limited supply, a lot of hype due to venture capital or just really good marketing. The valuation at launch of that specific chain network is going to be quite significant, right? More than you would expect any other sort of ICO, not ICO, IPO in the traditional markets. Just again, because of the very limited supply that it launches at, right?
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this part 2 and you have been actively watching part 1 and 2. And if it's not the case, you are just coming on the part 2, don't hesitate to see the part 1. And thank you very much for your attention. And if you want more content in these directions, please don't hesitate to comment and visit, I will say, our LinkedIn profile when you get more insight on a weekly basis. Thank you very much, and you see the disclaimer now at the end of this video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The content of this presentation has been prepared for general guidance and information purposes only. Any information provided throughout the presentation does not constitute financial, investment, professional advice, or recommendations.